Here's a overview video of the parts I designed for my Spring Thunder. Starting at the front, I designed a orange tip, bolts onto the front of Spring Thunder with these two bolts. Next is the pump grip that uses the same nut and bolt that the standard pump grip does. It's both thicker and longer than the normal pump grip. The pistol grip mounts the exact same way that the standard grip does. Doesn't use any additional hardware. The trigger guard mounts with the same screw here that the standard trigger guard does, but it friction fits into the pistol grip instead of being bolted on, and it feels pretty sturdy to me. Like, that feels good enough for me. So just to show how my hand fits on the pistol grip for anyone interested. Feels pretty comfy to me. Next is the rail. I designed some rail because I wanted this angle to be longer on the shoulder stock. So I made a custom bit of rail so that it flows a little better. There's two versions of this rail. There's one version that goes over of this part. You can kind of see, like, there's this piece that goes up and then back down and over. There's also a second version of this that is just this piece from right here to right here. If you're not using the Sling Mount, you can just attach that and it'll line up with a normal piece of rail. The Sling Mount goes all the way around the Spring Thunder. It bolts with 4 6-32 screws, the same screws that the tactical rail uses. 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. The Sling Mount itself is a worker sling swivel. It has an M4 nut under this 3D printed piece to bolt into. The shoulder stock is attached with 4 bolts. 3 of the bolts you can see here, and the 4th bolt is under this door right there. This is a 2-inch 6-32 bolt. These other 3 bolts I made by attaching a nylon lock nut onto a piece of 6-32 threaded rod. So this lock nut, it's just there so I have something to put a socket on so I can tighten this. And you can see that if I line it up, how far that bolt has to go. Let's put that back in there. Okay, and the door attaches with a tongue and groove. You see the little rectangle right here, and that tongue drops in like that. And on the back it attaches with a 6-32 half-inch bolt. There's a rectangular hole here in the back of the stock that has like a little tray that I made that holds the nut that this bolts into. So I can't show you that anymore because I glued this foam over it, but that's the intent, and this just gets bolted on. So the last thing is the side-mounted shell carrier. This is not the final version of the shell carrier. The final version has 2 screw holes here and here. Oh, on camera. Here and here. So underneath these 2 end shells, and it will bolt onto the Spring Thunder with some holes that are here and here on the Model 5 Spring Thunder. So the shell carrier mounts like this, with this cutout, this longer cutout here for the shell ejector, and this cutout down here for the shell stop on the side of the shell. so that it shouldn't interfere with the function of the blaster. The shells are held in with a 3/4 inch wide elastic band. The elastic band is fed through holes in the 3D printed part. The ends are held on with pins that are 3/4 inches long. These pins could be made out of anything. I made mine out of bits of nail. You could use chopsticks or like bits of a pencil or something. The important thing is that when this pin is inserted into the loop at the end of the rubber band, that makes the rubber band too thick to fit through the slit that is here in the part. And just to show that the elastic band is quite simply has a loop in the end by folding over the end of the elastic band and sewing it down. So the last thing about the shell carrier is to increase the strength of these areas on the shell carrier. There's a very small hole in each one that goes all the way through that you can push a piece of wire to give these areas more strength so that if they get hit by something, they're less likely to break. That's totally optional to do, but if you can find wire that can fit in the holes, then you should probably put that in there just as a precaution. I think that just about covers it. Thanks for watching.